Greetings and welcome back to Curiosities Obscura. We're thrilled to have you with us for another exciting exploration. Please don't forget to like, click the bell icon, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest adventures. Now, without further ado, let's get started. You're standing outside on a frosty December evening, a hot cup of cocoa warming your hands. Lights twinkle from every house around you, snow crunches underfoot, and the scent of pine fills the air. In this moment, Christmas feels magical, a world wrapped in tradition, belief, and whimsy. But have you ever stopped to wonder, where did these characters, these symbols, and these stories come from? Who are the faces of Christmas, and why have they endured through centuries of change? Today, we're unraveling the stories behind 10 iconic Christmas characters and myths, each with their own quirks, shadows, and fascinating origins. Some are jolly, some are eerie, and some might just surprise you. So, pull up a chair or a sleigh, and let's dive into the strange and storied world of Christmas legends. 1. Santa Claus. Let's start with the undisputed king of Christmas, Santa Claus. This jolly old man in red is practically synonymous with the holiday season, but his roots are anything but simple. Santa Claus, or St. Nicholas, started as a real-life person. Born in the 3rd century in what is now Turkey, Nicholas was a bishop known for his generosity, particularly toward children and the poor. He became legendary after saving 3 impoverished sisters from being sold into servitude by secretly providing them dowries. Over time, his acts of kindness turned him into a saint, and his feast day, December 6th, became a celebration in many parts of Europe. When Dutch settlers brought their version of St. Nicholas, Sinterklaas, to America, the myth evolved. By the 19th century, thanks to Clement Clarke Moore's famous poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, you know, the one with "'Twas the night before Christmas," Santa had become the plump, cheerful, red-suited figure we know today. Santa is a figure of joy and generosity, but there's a quiet duality to his story. He embodies the ideals of giving without expecting anything in return, yet he's also a symbol of commercialism. Think about it. Santa's image has been used to sell everything from soda to luxury cars. He's both magical and, well, a little corporate. Still, it's hard not to smile when you imagine him flying across the sky with his reindeer on Christmas Eve. 2. Krampus. Now, let's take a darker turn. Santa Claus might reward the nice, but what about the naughty? Enter Krampus, Santa's terrifying counterpart. Krampus comes from Alpine folklore and is the stuff of nightmares. With his sharp horns, long tongue, and goat-like hooves, Krampus is a Christmas monster who punishes misbehaving children. While Santa fills stockings with treats, Krampus leaves behind birch rods, or worse, drags kids to his lair in a sack. Krampus's origins are thought to predate Christianity, tied to pagan winter solstice festivals. When Christian traditions merged with older pagan customs, Krampus became part of the St. Nicholas story, serving as a reminder of the consequences of bad behavior. While Krampus might sound horrifying to modern ears, he's also a fascinating reflection of how cultures balance joy and discipline. In places like Austria and Germany, Krampus parades are still held today, with people donning elaborate costumes to celebrate this eerie yet oddly festive figure. 3. Frosty the Snowman. On a lighter note, let's talk about Frosty. You probably know him from the song Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul. Frosty isn't ancient like Santa or Krampus. He was born in 1950, created by songwriters Jack Rollins and Steve Nelson. The story of a snowman brought to life by a magical hat has captured hearts for decades. Frosty's tale is simple, yet profound. He represents the fleeting joy of childhood and the bittersweet nature of time, melting away but leaving behind memories that last. Psychologically, Frosty could be seen as a metaphor for embracing the present. His short life teaches us to savor moments of happiness, even when we know they're temporary. For a character so straightforward, Frosty packs a surprising emotional punch. Fourth, Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Speaking of emotional stories, we can't forget Rudolph. This little reindeer, with his glowing red nose, is the ultimate underdog. Rudolph was created in 1939 by Robert L. May, a copywriter for Montgomery Ward. The department store wanted a Christmas-themed story to give out to children, and May's tale of a reindeer who turns his unique trait into a strength was an instant hit. Rudolph's story resonates because it's so human, or should I say, so reindeer. We all know what it feels like to be judged for our differences, but Rudolph flips that script, turning his perceived weakness into a superpower. It's a heartwarming reminder that being different isn't a bad thing. It might just save Christmas. 5. The Grinch. Let's talk about another outsider, the Grinch. Created by Dr. Seuss in 1957, the Grinch is a grouchy, green creature who despises Christmas and everything it stands for. But here's the thing about the Grinch. He isn't just some villain out to ruin the holiday. He's complicated. His hatred of Christmas stems from isolation and bitterness, emotions that are all too relatable. Yet, when he sees the Who's of Whoville celebrating even without their presence, something changes. His heart grows 3 sizes, and he learns that Christmas is about connection, not consumption. The Grinch is a reminder that even the most cynical among us can find joy and redemption. Plus, his story challenges us to think about the meaning of the holiday. Is it about stuff, or is it about people? 6. The Yule Lads. If you thought Santa's workshop was crowded, wait until you hear about the Yule Lads. These 13 mischievous figures from Icelandic folklore aren't your typical Christmas elves. Each Yule Lad has a distinct personality, from spoon licker to door slammer. Over the 13 nights before Christmas, they visit children, leaving gifts for the well-behaved or rotting potatoes for the naughty. But the Yule Lads aren't just harmless pranksters. They're part of a family that includes their mother, Grýla, a terrifying troll who supposedly eats misbehaving children, and the Yule Cat, a giant feline that devours anyone who doesn't receive new clothes for Christmas. The Yule Lads highlight how folklore blends humor and fear to teach lessons. Their antics are silly, but their story reminds us of the cultural importance of behaving well and cherishing the simple gifts of life, like a warm sweater. 7. Mrs. Claus. Now, let's talk about someone who often gets overlooked. Mrs. Claus. Mrs. Claus first appeared in literature in the mid-1800s and has since become a symbol of quiet strength. While Santa gets all the glory, Mrs. Claus is often depicted as the one who keeps things running smoothly. She's kind, wise, and practical, the perfect partner for a man whose job involves flying around the world in one night. What I love about Mrs. Claus is how she represents the unsung heroes of Christmas. She might not have magical reindeer, but she's a reminder that behind every big success is someone working behind the scenes. 8. The 3 Wise Men. Let's step away from folklore for a moment and look at the biblical story of the 3 wise men. The wise men, or magi, are said to have traveled from the east, guided by the Star of Bethlehem to bring gifts to the baby Jesus. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh might seem like strange presents today, but each had symbolic meaning. Gold for royalty, frankincense for divinity, and myrrh for mortality. The story of the wise men emphasizes faith, generosity, and the search for something greater than oneself. In many cultures, especially in Latin America, their journey is celebrated on Epiphany with parades and gift-giving traditions. 9. Jack Frost. Jack Frost is the embodiment of winter itself. He's a mischievous, frosty figure who nips at your nose and paints icy patterns on windows. Though not strictly a Christmas character, Jack Frost often appears in holiday tales as a symbol of winter's beauty and harshness. He's a reminder that nature, like life, can be both breathtaking and unforgiving. Jack Frost's origins are murky, but he's often depicted as a playful sprite or a solitary artist, bringing cold yet magical transformations to the world. There's something poetic about him, a figure who creates beauty but leaves you shivering. 10. 𝐴𝐻𝐸𝐽𝐻, the Snow Maiden. Finally, let's talk about 𝐴𝐻𝐸𝐽𝐻, the Snow Maiden of Russian folklore. 𝐴𝐻𝐸𝐽𝐻 is the granddaughter of dead Moroz, Father Frost, Russia's version of Santa. She's often portrayed as a kind and gentle girl with a cloak of frost and a heart full of magic. What makes 𝐴𝐻𝐸𝐽𝐻 unique is her connection to both pagan and Christian traditions. She's a bridge between the old and the new, representing purity, innocence, and the magic of winter. Her story might not be as well known outside Russia, but she's a beautiful reminder of the cultural diversity within Christmas traditions. So why these 10? Because they're not just characters, they're reflections of humanity. They show us the joy of giving, the consequences of selfishness, and the beauty of embracing differences. They remind us of the warmth of connection and the chill of solitude, the fleeting nature of time, and the enduring power of belief. And with that, we conclude our exploration into AI's top 10 favorite Christmas icons and myths. Join us in our next venture on Curiosities Obscura, quenching your thirst for curiosity as we continue to showcase the curiosities, oddities, and mysteries that shape our world. Until then, may your curiosity illuminate your path.
Thank you.